So, good day, everyone. I'm Patrick, and today I'll be introducing you to a bold and emotionally charged art movement that broke away from tradition and gave artists the freedom to screen on canvas, which is expressionism. So, unlike styles that aim to mirror reality, expressionism distorts it. It's not about what the world looks like, it's about how it feels. This movement gave rise to art that was raw, intense, and deeply personal, often reflecting the chaos and anxieties of its time. In this presentation, Mr. Denry Concepcion and I will guide you through the origins of Expressionism, the historical and social forces that shaped it, the artists who defined it, and the powerful works they created. We'll also explore how this movement responded to the social political issues of its era and the media that carried its message. So, whether you're here for the brushstrokes or the backstory, Expressionism has a lot to say, and we're here to help you hear it. So, let us begin. Denry?
Okay. So to begin, first we will be talking about the definition of expressionism. So expressionism is defined as an art that does not depict the objective reality, but it pictures the artist's emotions and experience around the person. So according to Britannica, this is accomplished through the use of distortion, exaggeration, primitivism, and fantasy, as well as the vivid, jarring, and dynamic applications to achieve the formal elements of art. So I'll be passing the mic back to you, Patrick.
Next is brief historical background. So, Expressionism emerged in the early 20th century, around 1905. Primarily in Germany, it was a reaction against the calm beauty and realism of previous art movements, like Impressionism. Instead of capturing the external world, Expressionism artists focused on portraying intense emotions, inner turmoil, and distorted realities. This movement gained the momentum just before World War I, during a time of growing anxiety and disillusionment with modern society. Artists felt that traditional art no longer reflected the chaos and alienation people were experiencing. So they turned inward, using exaggerated colors, distorted forms, and dramatic compositions to express what couldn't be said in words. So Expressionism wasn't just limited to painting. It spreads across literature, theater, film, and architecture, becoming a powerful voice of protest and introspection in a rapidly changing world. The movement's classic pace lasted until around 1920, but its influence continued to ripple through the modern art and culture. And the third part will be Denry again.
Okay. So for next is going to be the factors that led to the art movement. So this emerged as a reaction against materialism, industrialization, urbanization, and a more strict rule on social and family during pre-World War One. So all writers at this time also use expressionism to explore their mental state, such as their struggles, because at that time they had emptiness and they had confusion. And it was also a response to World War One because during World War One, it caused a lot of emotional distress, such as fear, which caused these writers to explore the human emotions on fear. So, and lastly, here writers wanted to express their ideas through a new style in regards to the social protests. And next,
Okay, thank you. So the next one is social political issues. So Expressionism wasn't just an art style, it was a reaction. It emerged during a time of intense social and political upheaval, especially in Germany between 1905 and early 1930s. The country was grappling with rapid industrialization, urban alienation, and the looming shadow of war. Artists felt disconnected from the rising materialism and the rigid norms of Borgia's society. Expressionism became a protest against against the cold rationalism of modern life and the aesthetic traditions that no longer spoke to the human condition. World War One, I had a massive impact. The trauma of battle, the loss of life, and the collapse of all political orders pushed artists to confront themes of suffering, chaos, and existential dread. Works like Otto Dick's The War and Ernst Ludwig Kirchner's Street Berlin didn't just depict scenes, they exposed psychological wounds. Expressionism also reflected growing anxieties about identity, spirituality, and the role of the individual in a fractured society. To challenge viewers to see beyond surface beauty and confront the emotional and political realities of their time. In short, Expressionism was art with a pulse, beating in rhythm with the unrest of world on edge. Henry?
Thank you, Patrick. So next would be significant artists and their work. So here, these three are actually the early expressionists at the time who helped influence and develop expressionism through their diverse and unique art style. So first will be Vincent van Gogh. So Vincent van Gogh is a Dutch painter, and his art style of colors, brushwork, and contoured forms influenced the movement of expressionism. And a famous artwork of his is known as the Starry Night, and as you can see here at the right side. Then next would be Edvard Munch. So Edvard Munch is a Norwegian painter. He helped influence expressionism with his style of evoking psychological themes and the use of symbolisms. And his most famous artwork would be The Scream. And lastly is James Ensor. So James Ensor is what is famous for his bizarre fantasies, sardonic words, and the depiction of grotesque fantasies. And one of his artworks would be the La Colère, or also known, which is also translated as anger. And Patrick, I'll now be passing the mic back to you.
Thank you. So the next one is prevalent art forms and media. So Expressionism wasn't confined to one medium, it spread like wildfire across the arts, but its most iconic form was painting, where artists used bold colors, distorted shapes, and aggressive brushwork to express emotion over realism. Think Edward Munch's The Scream, not just a phrase, but a feeling. So beyond painting, Expressionism also thrived in theater, with exaggerated gestures, stark lighting, and surreal sets. Expressionist plays like the cabinet of Dr. Caligari turned psychological tension into visual drama. Next is film. German expressionist cinema used shadows, twisted architecture, and haunting visuals to explore madness, fear, and alienation. So third one is literature. Writers like Franz Kafka and George Trakl captured existential dread and inner turmoil through fragmented, intense prose. So the fourth one is music. So composers such as Arnold Schoenberg broke away from traditional harmony, using a tonality to reflect emotional chaos. So the last one is architecture. So expressionist buildings featured unusual forms, dynamic lines, and spiritual symbolism, rejecting symmetry for emotional impact. So in visual art, common media included oil and canvas, woodcuts, lithographs, and even mixed media. Artists embraced anything that could amplify emotion, whether through texture, contrast, or raw intensity. So Expressionism wasn't just a style. It was a multi-sensory rebellion against the ordinary. So for the last part would be Denry again.
So thank you. So for the last one will just be the references. So these are the references we use to make this presentation. And that will be all. Thank you for listening and thank you for your time.
Thank you.